Hey, this is the Baseball Rabbi bonus special. I'm Scott Kahn with Pesach Wilicki, and today we have an analysis of Kevin Cash's decision to pull Blake Snell after pitching great through 5 1/3 innings. The Rays were winning 1-0 in the 6th game of the World Series. Snell was pitching great. He'd given up 2 hits, no walks, 9 strikeouts, only 73 pitches, 2 times through the order. Then he gave up a hit to the number 9 batter, Austin Barnes. He was pulled for Nick Anderson, and now the Dodgers, 1912 Dodgers are World Series champions. So a lot of people are really saying that Kevin Cash made a terrible move. In fact, you and I have been trolling social media. We have not seen anyone defend him except for you. So I want to hear your take on this and why you think it actually was the right move to make.
All right. So I just want to share some data about Blake Snell to set the stage for this. And we're going to take a look at Blake Snell with 2 aspects or 2 different ways of looking at the same thing. Let's remember that Blake Snell is not Justin Verlander. He's not Max Scherzer. Although he won a Cy Young Award a couple of years ago, he has problems going deep into games. And when I say deep, I don't mean the 7th or 8th inning. I mean he has problems even getting through the 5th most of the time, or even the 4th, if you take a look at his career splits. I'll just share the numbers quickly with you. So first, let's take a look at it in terms of pitch count. You mentioned that he had thrown only 73 pitches, and a lot of people think that that's not very much. 100 pitches is the number we have in our heads for fatigue. Well, listen to Blake Snell's numbers. For 2020, which is a small sample size, for the first 25 pitches of the game, his OPS against is a minuscule 498.
That's amazing.
For the 26th to 50th pitch of the game, his OPS against jumps over 200 points to 708. And then from pitch 51 to pitch 75, his OPS against jumps even more to 880.
Which is terrible.
It jumps from 498 to 708 to 880. By the time you get to the 75th pitch of the game, everyone is an MVP candidate against Blake Snell. Now, that's 2020. That's a small sample size. So let's expand it a little bit. If we put together 2019, where he pitched half a season and then he got injured, and 2020, put it together and we have a better sample size for where Blake Snell is right now. After 75 pitches, Blake Snell's OPS against is a robust 769. That is borderline all-star offensive player against Blake Snell, much higher than the league average. So Blake Snell has a problem at pretty low pitch counts. I'll welcome anyone to go to Baseball Reference and take a look at these splits, and you'll see this throughout his career. Even his Cy Young year, he was much better, but he still had these same trends.
So 73 pitches, he's basically close to being finished.
Oh, he's done, right. And we'll get into what happened in this game specifically after the second way of looking at this same thing. Everyone's talking about how Kevin Cash was only going to let him go through the order twice. And sure enough, the last batter he faced was Austin Barnes, who roped a single up the middle off him, but was also the last batter in the 3rd time through the order. Well,
second time through the order.
Was the last batter the 2nd time through the order. He did not want him to be facing Mookie Betts the 3rd time through. Well, facing the opponent hitters times through the order, Blake Snell, 1st time through the order for his career, is a 592 opponent's OPS. He's like phenomenal.
Great.
That's Cy Young caliber OPS.
No one can hit off him. They're great.
The 1st time through.
He's great against them.
2nd time through the order, that jumps all the way up to 711. That's over 100 points, about 120 points of OPS against from the 1st time through to the 2nd time through it. Let me stress, if you look at a lot of pitchers, a jump like that usually doesn't happen until the 3rd or the 4th time through the order. The 1st and 2nd time are usually much closer. But he has that jump from the 1st to the 2nd, and then he has another jump from the 2nd to the 3rd. His OPS against the 3rd time through is over 740 for his career. In 2020, he's been way worse than that. In 2020, he is dynamite the 1st time through the order, a 462 OPS against, which is
phenomenal.
Unfathomably low.
Wow.
That's like Mariano Rivera pitching the 1st time through the order every time.
That's Pedro territory. That's amazing.
Yeah. And the 2nd and 3rd time through the order, both of them, he's over 900 OPS against in 2020. That's who he is right now. So if we combine 2019 and 2020, he has a 603 OPS against 1st time through the order, 808 the second time through.
200 points.
And
Unbelievable.
it stays around 800 the third time through. So Blake Snell, let's just set the stage now. And now we'll talk about this game. Blake Snell really is at the end of his rope when he gets into the 70s. When he gets towards the end of that second time through the order, history shows that he is not good anymore. Before I get to the data on this particular game, let's ask ourselves the question: do you want Kevin Cash to wait until he's really in big trouble and then everyone can agree that he should take him out? Branch Rickey said about trading, I'd rather trade a guy too early and get criticized for it than trade a guy too late. Same thing applies to taking out a pitcher. Managers will always get slammed if they take out a pitcher before he's in trouble. But isn't a manager's job to anticipate things? So everyone argues, well, but he was pitching lights out. Let him go deeper in the game. Not so simple. And this is where we get to the data on what was happening in this particular game.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay. In the first 2 innings of this game, there were 11 swings against Blake Snell. 9 out of those 11 swings were swings and misses.
That's terrific.
9 out of 11. That's very high.
He's pitching great.
In the third and fourth innings combined, there were 15 swings against him. 6 out of those 15 swings were swings and misses. We've gone from 9 out of 11 to 6 out of 15. In the 5th and 6th innings, which means the 5th inning and the 2 batters he faced in the 6th, there were a total of 9 swings against him. 1 of them was a swing and miss.
Oh, that's big. That's so big.
Yeah, it's huge.
Guys are making contact. 8 out of 9 are contact.
8 out of the last 9 swings off Blake Snell were contact. So when Austin Barnes ropes a single, the swings have been making contact. A good hit.
Yeah.
It was not a blooper at all. It's the end of the second time through the order. They've been making contact on virtually every swing, and that's been increasing with every inning. What do you want him to do? You want to wait till he walks a couple of guys or gives up a double or gives up a homer to blow the game and then say, okay, now it's time to take him out? Kevin Cash was absolutely right to take him out of the game. The only thing that I disagree with was who he brought in. And let's do this real quick. He brought in Nick Anderson. Now, Nick Anderson's great.
Terrific pitcher.
He's a terrific pitcher. He's amazing. However, he had given up runs in, I think, the last 3 outings in the postseason, including the 2 previous outings in the World Series. He had given up runs, but that's not the main reason I'm criticizing the move. He brought in Nick Anderson, who's a righty. Blake Snell is, of course, a lefty. He brings him in to face Mookie Betts. What's the problem with that? Well, Mookie Betts is in some kind of crazy funk hitting left-handed pitching. Mookie Betts' numbers this year hitting against lefties are absolutely atrocious. In 2020, Mookie Betts' OPS against right-handed pitching is 1,061.
Otherworldly, incredible.
Otherworldly. Mike Trout. Against left-handed pitching, Mookie Betts' OPS against is 531.
He's lucky to be on the team. That's that
lucky
level.
To be on the team. All 16 of his home runs came against right-handed pitching this year. Mookie Betts is in a slump against lefties. Just in case you think that 2020 is too small a sample size, let me expand that and say that in 2019, where he had over 700 plate appearances total, his OPS against was more than 100 points lower against lefties than against righties. Mookie Betts has a reverse split. If we combine 2019 and 2020, he has a 977 OPS against righties and a 761 OPS, more than 200 points lower against left-handed pitching.
Wow.
Managers should think of facing Mookie Betts like you're facing a left-handed batter, especially because there's 1 out in the inning and Austin Barnes is on base. The next 2 hitters are Mookie Betts and Corey Seager. Corey Seager is a left-handed batter with a normal left-handed batter split, which means that he's much weaker against lefties than against righties. Now,
which makes you question why Anderson was in there for him.
Absolutely. Meaning that even I agree with taking out Snell, the right move right there would have been to bring in a left-handed pitcher, because with the new rules, you can't just bring in someone to face Mookie anyway. He's going to have to face the next 2 hitters. So even if you're thinking Nick Anderson is lights out against righties, and I'll bring in you can't do the righty-lefty thing anymore. You're going to have to bring in someone to face 2 hitters. You're not hoping for a double play ball. And therefore, the right move would have been to bring in a left-handed pitcher. So I absolutely agree with the decision to take out Snell. I think everyone's opposed to it for a simple reason. It didn't work out. If Nick Anderson gets out of the inning, no one is questioning Kevin Cash's decision, and everyone's saying, look at that. Blake Snell took him into the sixth, pitched great, and he got him out of there just in time. The only reason people are criticizing Kevin Cash is because it didn't work. That is not a good way to analyze a decision.
Well, it's dangerous.
It's a dangerous way to analyze it. So basically, that's my take. Everyone's criticizing Kevin Cash. People are calling it one of the worst decisions in Major League history. And I think that this is a mistake. It's misguided. Kevin Cash absolutely did the right thing based on Blake Snell's track record of going into games and pitch counts, and based on what was happening in the game. The key data point, again, out of the last 9 swings against him, 8 of them made contact.
So based on what was happening in the game, based on his history at 75 pitches and even earlier, based on his history the third time through the order, which was about to begin, you're saying that from all 3 perspectives, it was time to take Blake Snell out. The real question is, who are you going to put in to replace him? And that's where he made a mistake, which no one is really talking about.
Absolutely.
Okay. We'll see what other people think about that. So let us know what you think about it. Thank you very much. On the Baseball Rabbi video podcast, I'm Scott Kahn with Pesach Wilicki.